Hi, I'm Zoran from Sonic Farm Audio. I'd like to show you our line of Pro Audio products. What we have here is 4 tube-based 19-inch rack preamps, and we have 2 different solid-state preamps plus a DI box, which is pentode based. So first I'm going to touch up on the tube stuff. So we have 4 different flavors of preamps. The top one is based on, it's called Berliner. It's loosely based on the venerable Telefunken V76. But we've changed a bunch of things and, totally changed the bias of the first tube so that we can add the DI or instrument input directly on the grid of the tube, which the original cannot do. And we added a separate and dedicated line transformer on each input, so you can literally run your whole mix through this thing, and you can color it so that you glue the sound or warm it up, whatever you want, especially if you're recording in the box. So being a classical preamp, it has a gain and a output control, and the gain is always used in a feedback loop. So feedback loops are known to reduce distortion. So a classical preamp with a very sweet sound and very low distortion, but still colors because it's a tube one. And the output can be switched between transformer or transformerless. So putting in the transformer gives you more weight or more body. You can choose between a 100% iron or 50-50 nickel iron transformer. That gives additional coloration, or when you take it out, you get a more transparent open sound. At the input, we have a 2-band preset EQ, and you have 2 different frequencies at which you can boost. It's boost only. And on the top of the unit, there's 2 holes where you can access 2 trim pots to determine how much of the boost you want. So that's the Berliner. So we'll skip the second one. We'll go to the third one called Creamer Plus. This is our first unit we ever made like 6 years ago. It's still our flagship model, and still most people gravitate towards this one. Notice it has no gain control, unlike the first one. And so hence there's no feedback loop in the gain stage, which translates into more coloration. Why? Because you keep all the harmonics and all the subtle distortion that the pentode creates, which in this case is very beneficial, and you don't want to diminish that by using a feedback loop. So it has more color than the Berliner, which I just described. So there's a couple of ways to increase the gain, to regulate the gain. One is by changing the tube mode from triode to pentode. Triode is more hi-fi or more polite sounding and less gain, and pentode is more saturated and much more gain. And then you can also use a tap on the input transformer, I'm talking microphone transformer, to get 6 dBs more. So all in all, you can have about 74 dBs maximum out of this unit. The upper one has, I believe, 76 or so. So that's more gain than you need for even ribbon mics or anything. And again, the output can be switched between transformer and transformerless. So that's the Creamer Plus. So let's see. And it has, like the Berliner, it has preset EQs, all of our units have. The unit on the bottom is a line only, we call it a signal conditioner, which is inserted into your stereo bus. It can be a mastering situation, a mixing situation, or a live mix situation. All of those categories, the engineers, a lot of engineers like this product a lot. because it will smooth the edges of say a digital board in a live situation, or in the mastering situation. If you mix in the box, it'll give you like nice glued.
Kind of audio glue to stick
Right,
together.
right. And this one is when you have the output on 12 noon position, you know, you have a bypass switch and there's no level change between bypassed and active. And also you can change tube modes like you can on the creamer, but in the case it's compensated, level compensated. So you only have a different coloration, but the level stays the same, which for mastering is something you want. Also you have a attenuator on the tube, so you can drive the tube less by 6 dBs or more, you know, because if you use it in non-attenuated mode, then, you know, it's set to have the like normal like 0 dB audio that you get when you mix, just barely tickle the overload LED, which is here, is the indicator. So you don't get distortion, but you get a little bit of like, you know, crunch saturation. So if you hit the attenuation switch, you know, you have it a lot cleaner. So that's the basis of that. And this unit, called Excalibur, has a dedicated overdrive tube, so which is a concept we stole from our bass amp. So first you have the clean level. Again, there's a gain switch here where you can, there's 3 gain stages, low, high, and mid. And then you can, this is the output. So you can mix the clean and the overdriven signal. You know, the headroom of these things is huge because we use 280 volt, 285 volt plate voltage. So, you know, it takes a while to fill that headroom up, you know, with even the strongest, like if you put a condenser mic inside a kick drum, it doesn't get worse than that. It can handle that easily, you know. So the second tube, you overdrive it to your liking here, and then you blend in as much as you want of that with a clean signal, like that. And furthermore, you have a pre-drive filter, so you can roll off the bass so you don't get a muddy distortion. You can even use it in vocals, like you put it here in the middle, roll off the treble, even a lot of mids, and just add a little bit of that, and you know, in a, say, a rock production, it can do wonders for your vocal. Or even, you know, overheads of your drum kit. You know, many different things benefit from that if you know how much to use. If you use only a little bit of it, you don't even perceive it as distorted. You know, it just adds character.
So what's your favorite use for this?
Well, I mean, I personally have used it with bass, I've used it with vocals, I've used it with drums a little bit, you know. And now in fact, it's a pretty new unit, so we've been giving it around to engineers to give us the feedback. We just gave it to Joe Ciccarelli, who loves the sound. He said he'd like a few little changes, you know, like being a top producer, he's got his own special requests, you know. Like he wants a little low pass filter, because sometimes he wants only, you know, the mids from the distortion to be added. So we're thinking of making a special unit for him. So, you know, preferences.
And I can see you've got a couple of other little things to the side here.
Right. So this is our solid state line of preamps. They're based on the same circuit, but the dual unit here on the left is a integrated power supply with the higher headroom. It has a dual 24 volt supply, which is a standard studio supply, unlike the Series 500, which uses dual 16 volts, which, you know, a lot of pro engineers kind of like look down upon. You know, not having enough headroom, you know, limited in certain ways, also limited like current draw and things, you know, so you have to go like to tricks, you know, to really make it sound good. I think we pulled it off, but I think this sounds even better than the Series 500. And also we've added a high pass filter, 3-position. So yeah, a few more words about this. It's a discrete matched transistor operational preamp amp used for the gain stage with no capacitors in the signal path, and a dual stage servo loop which takes care of any DC offset at the output. So that translates into very clean, especially clean low end. It's clean all the way, like to 50 kilohertz easily. But the low end is very clean and phase shift free, which you can't get that with any tube preamp because you need capacitors in the signal path, which always give you a little bit of phase shift, you know. So, and also here we have a vibe, so-called vibe switch, which plays with the, adds a complex network to the input microphone transformer, and it can give you a little presence peak, or it can roll off the treble, like if you have a brittle, like say you're doing a guitar amp or something where you want to smooth it out a little bit. So that's about it. That's and like on our other preamps, you can bypass the output transformer. With the transformer, it sounds very vintage, very Neve-like, even though it's a diametrically different design. Without the transformer, it's more in the like modern preamp category, like John Hardy or George Massenburg, that kind of sound. So we're really happy with it. A lot of people love it. So there you go. And then finally, this is our DI box. It's a pentode DI box that uses the same circuit as in the Creamer. It's only DI, of course, and it has runs on the same high plate voltage, 285 volts. So you don't want to put your Coke on top of it. So it sounds awesome. Again, you can change the tube mode from triode to pentode. Most bassists prefer the pentode mode because it gives them some character, a lot more character. So that's it from Sonic Farm Audio at the MESSE in Frankfurt 2017. Thank you very much.